Have you ever felt someone slip away from you? Not with words, not with fights, but in silence. Has love ever faded from your life without warning, like a candle quietly burning out? What do you do when the person who once made your world brighter starts to dim the light between you? If you're on a journey of self-discovery, emotional clarity, and personal power, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because here we turn pain into wisdom and loss into strength. Let's dive into a truth not often told but deeply felt. We often expect love to end with a bang, with shouting matches, slammed doors, or dramatic breakups. But real life is quieter, more subtle. Love doesn't always die in chaos. Sometimes it slips away in silence. Let's talk about the 3 quiet signs someone may be falling out of love with you, drawn from both lived experience and Stoic philosophy. 1. The disappearing presence. It begins slowly. They're still physically present, sitting next to you on the couch, sharing meals, even sleeping beside you. But something has shifted. Something you can't quite articulate at first, only feel deep in your chest. The invisible thread that once bound you tightly is unraveling. The spark has dimmed, the warmth has cooled, and the energy that used to flow between you like an electric current now feels blocked, absent. At first, you make excuses. Life gets busy, work is stressful, maybe they're just tired. But over time, the excuses wear thin because the signs keep showing up. They stop asking how your day was. They don't listen when you talk about your hopes, your fears, or even the small trivialities that once sparked shared laughter. You begin to notice the silence between you stretching longer, growing heavier. They no longer laugh at your jokes. The inside references that once made you both chuckle now fall flat, met with indifference or worse, annoyance. You reach for them with affection, but the response is lukewarm. They forget the small rituals that once anchored your connection. Morning, kisses, midday texts, shared coffee, spontaneous hugs. You find yourself clinging to memories instead of moments. This is silent emotional withdrawal, and it is one of the earliest, most painful signs that love is beginning to drift away. It doesn't happen with shouting or dramatic exits. It happens with absence, emotional absence. The soul of the connection begins to wither even if the body remains. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This offers us perspective. Often we fear things before they truly manifest. But what if the suffering is real? What if you're not imagining the change, but instead experiencing it? In the face of this withdrawal, a Stoic mindset becomes both a shield and a compass. Marcus Aurelius urged us to remain centered. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You may not be able to control their emotional absence, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose dignity over desperation, calm over chaos. You begin to realize that love cannot be sustained by one person alone. A relationship is a dance, not a solo performance. When one partner steps back and remains distant, the rhythm falters. You can extend your hand, but they must choose to take it. And if they don't, then comes the hardest truth. You must accept the reality, not the memory. You must let go, not to give up, but to hold on to your own peace. Because a love that disappears silently is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of where their heart no longer dwells. 2. Criticism in disguise. After the distance, something else creeps in. A shift not in presence, but in tone. Where there was once softness, there's now an edge. Jokes that used to bring light now carry shadows. Teasing that once made you feel loved now makes you feel judged. You find yourself second-guessing the meaning behind every comment, wondering if the laughter is at your expense. Their voice is no longer a place of comfort. It's a subtle battlefield. You hear the difference not in what they say, but in how they say it. It's not outright cruelty, it's something more insidious. Criticism wrapped in disguise. You might rationalize it at first. They're stressed. They didn't mean it. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive. But deep down, your instincts know. You sense the shift in their gaze, the diminishing patience, the way your very presence seems to irritate more than inspire. The things they once loved about you now seem to provoke them. This isn't about one fight or one disagreement. It's the slow erosion of kindness. And it hurts not because of the words alone, but because of what those words reveal. Affection has been replaced by irritation, appreciation by disdain. Yet there are no explosive arguments, no name-calling, nothing dramatic you can point to. That's what makes it so disorienting. The negativity hides in the subtleties. It gaslights your perception. You wonder if you're imagining things, even as your heart quietly breaks. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes essential. Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with himself." That is your task now, to find stillness within yourself rather than in their shifting moods. You can't reason someone into loving you again. You can't fix what they won't admit is broken. But you can stop internalizing their criticism. You can separate your value from their voice. In moments like this, Stoicism reminds you that you don't need validation from someone whose affection has turned into a tool of control. You need clarity and courage. Clarity to see the difference between constructive feedback and disguised contempt. Courage to stop explaining yourself to someone who has already decided not to see you clearly. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away from someone who speaks with thorns instead of tenderness. 3. The power of awareness. Most relationships don't collapse in a single moment. They dissolve slowly, like paint fading under the sun, like a song growing fainter with each passing day until silence remains. Awareness is often what's missing. Awareness that love doesn't disappear in one argument or one misunderstanding, but in the days we stop noticing each other, in the moments we turn away instead of toward, in the silence that becomes our language. David and Margaret were once that couple who laughed without restraint, who stayed up talking until dawn, who made plans with fire in their eyes. But life crept in. Responsibilities, distractions, unspoken resentments. The late-night talks became brief exchanges. The laughter turned into logistical conversations. The dreams they once shared drifted apart like separate clouds in the sky. And yet there was no explosion, no betrayal, just a gradual disconnection. And by the time either of them fully realized it, the closeness was gone. That is the tragedy of unawareness. This is where Stoicism holds its greatest power. It doesn't promise to prevent heartbreak, but it teaches us how to face it with our eyes open. The Stoics taught us not to attach ourselves to what is outside of our control, including the emotions, choices, and affections of others. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment. We can love fully, yet not cling. We can grieve loss without losing ourselves in it." When you cultivate awareness, you begin to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. You stop begging for scraps of attention. You stop overanalyzing every message or mood swing. You observe instead of reacting. You become rooted in your own values, your own peace. This doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. On the contrary, awareness makes you more alive. You feel everything, but you no longer let those feelings control you. Yes, love may fade, people may grow apart, but your dignity, your self-respect, your inner calm, those are yours, and no emotional distance can take them from you. In the end, the power of awareness is the power to walk forward, not with bitterness, but with grace. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you started loving yourself more. If you've noticed these, signs, don't panic. Instead, reflect. Ask yourself, am I honoring my own worth, or am I chasing something that no longer sees it? As Stoics say, don't let your happiness depend on things outside your control. Let love be a beautiful gift, not a prison of expectations. And remember, you are not defined by who walks away. You are defined by how you rise after they're gone. If this message resonated with you, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and join a growing community committed to strength, truth, and growth, because healing is a path, and we walk it better together.